This video was made possible by Wix. If you are ready to create a website, head over to wix.com/go/infographics to try out one of their premium plans right now. The average person hears as many as 200 lies in a single day. College students lie to their mothers 20% of the time, and on average, strangers lie to each other 3 times within the first 10 minutes of meeting. All these points are made by Pamela Meyer, American author, certified fraud examiner, and entrepreneur who has been described by Reader's Digest as the nation's best-known expert on lying. People lie for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they lie to improve their image or save face, maybe to cover up an accident or bad mistake that's been made, and often they tell white lies where the lie is to protect another person from getting hurt. What are the most common lies that people tell? Today, we'll run through the top 20 lies. In this episode of the Infographic Show, what do we lie about the most? Number 20, I'm almost there. So many of us have uttered those words when we know we are half an hour away from a social meeting and our friends are waiting. Even though you realize when you finally arrive, it will be plainly obvious that you were not almost there, 5 minutes away, or just around the corner, this little lie is one that many of us often use to save a little face when losing the race to our destination. Number 19, my phone's been acting weird. This line sounds a little weak, but the reason it's used so often is it can cover many options for not following up. After all, our smartphones have our email, apps, and voicemail, so if you have not followed up with someone, what better way than to blame it on the phone breaking or not being backed up properly? Number 18, my phone died. Forgot to reply to a text or WhatsApp? Or maybe you're ignoring a message from someone you'd rather get back to at a later date. Another phone excuse is to say the battery died. This common white lie is a quick and convenient way of procrastinating to give a response. Sometimes you even receive messages from different friends who are asking you to catch up, but the times clash. Who to choose? It's just all too easy to ignore both of them and instead see if things change overnight and text the following day saying that the phone died. Number 17, I'm almost finished. You haven't even started. You may be working on your homework or a proposal for your boss, or maybe finishing up a favor for a friend. Whatever the job is, all too often, when we know we either have a lot more work to do or didn't even make a start, I'm almost finished are the words that spring to mind. It saves all that explanation as to why you've missed the deadline. Number 16, I remember you. You're introduced to a person by a friend. It could be at work or maybe at a social gathering such as a party. The person who shakes your hand certainly seems to remember you, but your mind is blank. They even name your mutual friends and how you met. Your heart rate picks up what to do or say. You smile and say, of course I remember you. Nope, you're lying, but it does sort the situation out. Number 15, it wasn't that expensive. According to TechCrunch, 79% of Americans now shop online, and if you're one of those people splurging out on new clothes, then it's good to have a line for the ready if your partner is inquiring about your purchases. It wasn't that expensive is not the most inventive of excuses, but it's definitely a common lie used to defer further questions whilst you work out how you'll explain the huge credit card bill when it arrives in the post. Number 14, it's not you, it's me. If you haven't delivered this one-liner, then you may well have been on the receiving end. This is one of the most common explanations for calling it a day, usually in the early stages of a relationship. Someone asks, why are you breaking up? And the other person responds, I'm sorry, but it's not you, it's me. Let's be honest, what's really meant is, it's you. Number 13, it's so great to see you. We've all had those awkward party interactions where you bump into a person you haven't seen for months and you're actually not really too bothered by it. The truth is, you'd be happy not to have seen them in years. However, you shift straight into party polite mood and start acting as if it's simply awesome that you've crossed paths. You may say to him or her, it's so great to see you, but in your head you're thinking, get me out of here. Number 12, I'm good, how are you? This is often the automatic response we give in almost every small talk exchange, whether we talk with coworkers or complete strangers. You could be feeling hungover, or fighting off a bad cold, or just having a disastrous day, and you're going to lie and say, I'm good. People usually say this rather than say they're not good and then have to explain all the underlying reasons. Number 11, the traffic was crazy. You arrived late to a party or work function. Maybe you already lied and said you were nearly there when your friends called, so now you need a new excuse. You explain that the traffic was crazy. You have Google Maps, you've probably driven that route many times, and you have a pretty good idea of how long it will take, but of course, you left home late. Instead of taking responsibility, it's easier to blame the traffic gods. Number 10, it was my last one. Whether it's candies, a beer, or cash, you know it's petty not to offer a little of what you've got to a friend or even a stranger in need. But today, for whatever reason, you just can't help yourself from being greedy and keeping every last one to yourself. So you put your empty hands in the air and act like you're all out of what you've got and go about your day. Number 9, I've got an appointment. It's one of those days when you really need to leave work early. You've arranged to meet a friend, or maybe you've just had enough of the office, but then you can't leave early without a good reason. A fictitious appointment is a common way for people to duck out early. But watch out not to use this one too often, or you may have to build a little lie into a whole ongoing illness or disease, which can get complicated. Number 8, I love it. You've been bought a birthday present or Valentine's Day gift, but it's far from what you expected. How do you react? You'd love to verbalize your disgust, but of course, you won't. The best way out of this one is a forced smile and a pretend, I love it, to keep everyone happy. Surely, this is one of the most common white lies that people use. Number 7, it must have hit my spam folder. Of course, it never went to your spam folder. You were simply too busy with other emails to notice the important email from a colleague or friend. But when the sender calls you to ask about the message, the quickest way out is to blame it on spam. This is a common lie for those of us at an office desk 8 hours a day with our heads buried in our laptops. Number 6, I gotta run. This is a common one when you want to leave a party, end a phone call, or exit the conversation you're having with a random friend you've bumped into at the store. You don't really need to be anywhere else, but sitting on the couch at home watching Netflix sounds more appealing. You think it will make your friend feel better if you add a little urgency to your departure, so you say, I gotta run. Number 5, I'm having trouble hearing you. Oh yes, it's the old bad cell reception trick and the most common way to be done with a call you would rather not continue. If you don't like where a conversation is going, bad reception is the perfect excuse. And some people are so cunning with this little porky pie that they even pretend to make a little break in the audio like the call is dropping out and back up their reason for needing to kill the call. Number 4, let's hang out soon. Oh, that old word soon, which really means never. Anyone using this line will be sure to avoid specifics such as tomorrow or next week. The non-committal soon gives the appearance of wanting to see a person again, while also giving someone a way to avoid ever actually having to meet up or hang out with the person again. Number 3, of course you don't look fat in that, honey. John is trying on his new jeans, or Mary is wearing her new dress. In either case, they both look to their partner for some emotionally supportive words. John and Mary ask, do I look fat in this, honey? Regardless of John forcing his jean buttons together, or Mary feeling the dress is a little tight around the midriff, the only safe response is, of course you don't. Yes, it may be a lie, but it's common and often highly necessary. Number 2, your baby is adorable. All babies are beautiful, particularly in the eyes of their parents. But are they really? A screaming child who's just thrown up the hourly milk meal may not seem like the most gorgeous baby after this type of greeting. However, we don't want to offend the parents, so it's far safer to let this little one-liner roll off the tongue. Number 1, this is delicious. Granny has cooked you her favorite clam chowder dish, and even though she thinks it should be served at a 5-star Michelin restaurant, it's not even good enough for the prison canteen. But you can't really say anything negative or she will be devastated. So you swallow as much as you can and find a way to discard the rest and tell Granny it's delicious so as to make her day. Here at the Infographic Show, we'll happily tell you what people lie about the most. But one thing we can tell you isn't a lie is how amazing Wix is for creating and hosting your own website. With simple to use yet fully customizable layouts, Wix gives you all the tools you need to make a great looking site that's uniquely you. And if designing isn't your strong suit, Wix ADI will build you a website on the spot just by answering a few simple questions. Click the link in the description or go to wix.com/go/infographics and check out how easy it is to make an awesome site. So, these are just a few of the many small lies that people tell each other regularly on a day-to-day basis. Are there any that we missed? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to watch our other video called How Can You Tell If Someone Is Lying? Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time!